Hello and welcome back to a YouTube interview style of the Healing into Femininity platform. My name is Joanna. If you're new here, I am the creator of Healing into Femininity, which is a holistic approach to creating the life of your dreams, where it's really about health, relationships, your vocation, and financial freedom. And I have been on this path for 7 years now. And up until now, I have tried to teach everything that I have realized in the past 7 years. I tried to teach it on my own, but now this year I realized I can't do it all on my own. I need people like surrounding me who are experts in their unique field. And this is exactly how Emmanuel and me we met. I posted a YouTube video in a community group talking about the science of getting rich, because for me it's all about like the spirit and the mindset, and then about the structure on how to build a life of holistic wealth. And Emmanuel saw the video. He contacted me, and he like we just kicked it off, and then he told me that he is a financial expert. He has a decade of experience under his belt, and he's a advisor in personal finance, in business finance, and in strategy. So last week we met, we talked just the way it's supposed to be over a nice meal, and we kicked it off. So Emmanuel is now part of the platform, and I just want to, introduce him to you, to my community, and ask him like who he is, what brought him into the topic of building personal wealth, and what is wealth and what is money in his view. So, Emmanuel, welcome so much, and I'm happy to have you today.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks for having me here. And it was nice under the circumstances we met. And so we can take it forward and see what the possibilities are for us in the future and what we can create. And
Absolutely.
sharing ideas
Yes.
and all the things we can always do. So it's always good to connect. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. Like who are you? And especially like when and at what, like where do you come from? And
Yes.
at what time in your life did like money and finance and wealth building spark your interest?
Yes. So I'm Emmanuel, and I'm from Ghana originally. And I had most of my education in Ghana, and I worked a bit also in Ghana in finance. I came to Germany to do my master's. So I did my bachelor's in Ghana in mathematics and statistics, came to Germany to do a master's in finance. And yeah, I've been working in finance all my life, and currently working with the largest trade credits insurer in the world as a senior accountant, under a portfolio of 22 of our companies in 12 different countries. So that is my profession. And then on the side, what I realize is money is a very important aspect of our holistic lives. You know, we have, as a human, you have various sectors, you have your relationships, you have your health, you have your wealth, you have your soul and mind. So all these aspects needs to be improved, you know. So for me, finance is something that I take very serious. And and lack is something I don't want in my life, you know, because I see what it does to people. When you have lack, you're not able to live your true life. You're not able to be your true self. You may not do things with integrity because you have to compromise on certain things. So for me, it's very important. We are not there yet, but it's very important that you take this journey to have financial freedom. So that is what has sparked my interest. And over the years, I realized that there is a whole tool created for wealth creation. And these are things that we need to learn. So that is what has sparked my interest in learning more about finance, and then sharing also what I know to other people about wealth creation. So that is why we are here. And then I believe the journey continues from there.
Absolutely. So interesting. And like maybe really on a personal
Yes.
note, is it also like inspired by seeing people? Because as you said, like luck is not something that you
Yes.
believe in.
Yes.
Really seeing people where there was a bad financial management, or
Yes.
they didn't know, or they were just, like just drawn left and right by their emotions. Was there like some kind of personal thing that you saw earlier on in your life or
Yeah.
along your journey where you said, no, I really want to take a different route?
So this comes from various aspects, So the first aspect is seeing what people are doing to create wealth for themselves. Oh, and this is like, I'm naturally a curious person. So first of all, it's curious. What are these guys doing right? What do they know that I don't know? Then second also comes to the point of my experience with money. Because most of the times what we do with money emanates from our subconscious, probably also from what we've experienced, what we've seen our parents doing, because of course that's the first place of tutelage. That's where you first learn anything you know about most of the things you know. So what you're bringing out now will probably come from what you experienced, what you've seen your parents do, what you've seen the people around do with money, So, and then the other aspect of it for me is seeing what other people do, which is what they are doing better. So I saw the disparity between the two, and I said, no, there's a way to switch from where you are now to the
Yeah.
other side. And also you can see there's a lot of emotional barriers that affect how we use money. Most of the ways or one of the things that influence how we use money also comes from the emotional barriers we have.
Absolutely.
And this is why it's important for us to learn, to know, to get the knowledge of how to be good with our money, because there are a lot of biases on how we do things with money. So this is why we are talking about.
Yeah, I love that.
So for me
So
personally, it's from what I have seen my parents, because most times some of the things you see of people or what you've seen around is mostly consumption.
yeah.
That is what we mostly grew up with. We see our parents it's not bad to consume, but on the other side, there's another way of using money. Of course, money is a resource to meet goals and needs and your passions and desires, but then there's another way to also use money. So this is where I picked interest to learn about how to go about it better, and then
Yeah.
break all the emotional barriers and all the subconscious things that I already knew about money. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So this also leads me to the next question, like what can the viewers like, because this is just a kickoff interview, right? So what can the viewers expect to learn
Yes.
on like the series of personal finance? And yeah, I want to like pivot into, as
Yes.
you already said, and I'm also going to just add to it
Yes.
that it's of course, I think that is the number one key to understand that most of the things we've learned, whether it be health,
Yes.
relationship, right,
Yes.
work, or money, or especially money, these are the things we just subconsciously, like we just learned, like we
Yes.
just took them in. And
Yes.
now those things, if we don't educate ourselves on it, it just runs on a subconscious level, like on autopilot, right? And I know that one thing that is very important to use also the psychology of money,
Yes.
right? So why is it important to receive formal education about money management? What would you say?
Yes. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what the viewers should expect from this, because it's very important treating problems from the root cause. If you go to the hospital, they don't just treat you based on the symptoms they see. They take further tests because they want to see where the root cause of the problem is. And then, so we have two aspects of what I expect the viewers to get from this. First is dealing with the fundamental part, which has to do with our psychology towards money, our relationship with money. Because if you get that right, the hard part, which is the understanding the financial principles, the strategies, is very easy, because most of those are just on autopilot. If you know what to do, you just keep doing what you know what to do. One of my mentors said that real investing is boring. Most of the times, you don't have to do anything, because you know the strategy you've picked, and then you are just consistently doing that strategy. So the first part is knowing the psychology or things that influence your decision towards money. And then the second part is understanding the vehicle to choose in reaching your financial goals. So these are what I expect viewers to get from it. And then the second question which you ask is why is it important to get this knowledge? You know, it is said statistically that, or by common knowledge, we know that most lottery winners go broke within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Why is this so? So the problem is not about how much money you have. The problem is about knowing what to do with the money or the resources you have. That is why it's
Absolutely.
important to learn, to get the necessary knowledge, because these things, or the financial world, was created for a purpose. So if you don't know why it was created and the right tools to use in driving that vehicle, you may mishandle it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I put you in an airplane right now to move it, you would get us all crashed. You understand? So that is why it's really important that you get the necessary knowledge to relearn, to deal with the emotional things you know about money. So to sort of, because what I say is, if I'm on level 0 and I go deep down 2 steps downwards, to get to level 2, I need to go 4 steps up.
Yeah.
So it's better you get the knowledge. So wherever you're going from level 0, it's easier for you than going down and then rather trying to recover. So that's why it's important that people, or all of us, try to get knowledge. I'm not the epitome of all knowledge, but at least I know something. And then we
Absolutely.
continually keep learning. So with the knowledge I have, I feel it's necessary for me to share it with other people. So
Yeah.
that is most important to have this.
Absolutely. And also, I also believe, just to chime in here, I think it is, as you said, it is learning the fundamentals, right? And you already said, like, you have
Yes.
been dealing with finances since more than 10 years on a professional basis. And sometimes we underestimate ourselves, right? I think that so many people, like, of course, you can continue to learn. Of course, there's a way up, but just laying the foundation, as you
Yes.
said, is already a
Yes.
huge step, because the rest kind of goes on autopilot,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I really like that. So what would you say are the biggest misconceptions about money that people inherit, yeah, from their parents or their early experiences or even the culture?
Yes. So before I go on answering your question, I would like to mention that. So based on this knowledge that I've acquired over the years and what I do for myself, I help people also with their personal finance, creating a strategy. And then I also am able to help businesses transform their business from where they are to where they want to go. I help with budget proposal writing and kind of all that kind of stuff. So now back to your question. Sorry, what was the question again?
What are the biggest misconceptions that
Yes.
people inherit?
So mostly it is said that money is the root of all evil. Yes, I think it's not the root of all evil, because the evil lies within you. It's not the money. Anton Krill gave a very classical example of how we relate to money. He said that every problem we have with money is not the money, it's within us. Because you have a lot of emotions attached to how much money you have, whether you have a little bit of it or you have it in excess. So if you are not able to control yourself and your vices or whatever, when you have it in excess, that's when you see a lot of vices coming out, because now you have the resource to deeply engage in your vices. So it is important. So these are the misconceptions. Every problem you have with money has to do with yourself.
Yeah.
So he said that there are 2 things you need to have associated with money: respect and indifference. Respect in the sense that no matter how little it is, the same strategies that apply when you have excess will run through the same. So, for instance, you would see people being able to do away with very tiny amounts of money because it's not huge. It means nothing. It means you don't respect it. You understand? But if you have a strategy, no matter how little it is, even if it's 10 euros, you say, okay, someone will say, oh, if I have 10 million, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to invest in this. You could do the same even if you have 10 euros, because we operate on proportions.
Yeah.
So if you operate on a certain proportion, that is with respect to money, on a 10 euro level, you will still operate on that same proportion when it is 10 million. So it hasn't got to do with the money being evil, but with yourself. That is why I said it's important for us also to touch on the psychology aspect of money. Deal with these problems, and then you can go forward from there.
Absolutely. And I like there's one saying I like how you framed it. There's also one saying that I like is money is like an amplifier.
Yes,
Right?
definitely.
Money is an amplifier. If you are whatever it is, money will amplify it, right?
True.
If you're a stingy person,
Yeah,
you're still going to be stingy with money.
yeah,
If you're a good steward of money, you're going to
yeah,
be good with money,
yeah,
right? So yeah, I really like that. And also, as you said, like everything is in proportion. It's really, again, coming back to the system, right? If there's a system in
yeah,
place, you use that system, whether it be with 10 euros, with 20, with
yes, yes,
100,000, and so on. Yeah, I
yes,
really like that.
yes.
So you said something about like the emotional thing. I
Mm.
agree on that. And I
Yes,
would say like this is exactly my work, right?
yes,
So before people, or let's say simultaneously, like
yeah,
people learning how to invest, it
yeah,
is about the roller coaster of the emotions.
yes,
And this is my expertise. It's really about the deep rooted um, subconscious beliefs that
mhm,
I help people uncover and then
mhm,
change, and
yeah,
also the emotional management. But what would you say, like, how do our emotions influence our financial decisions?
yes, because it really has. That is why I started from saying that most of the things we do with money is from the subconscious. That is why you need to get to a stop and learn and relearn. Now, we are naturally or we are instinctively rational beings, but we don't make rational decisions all the time. We know what food is good for our health. We know what food is not good for our health, but then we still eat what is not. So it means that there is something driving the decisions you're making.
Yeah.
And you need to get to a point where you're able to disassociate from those things, disassociate from making emotionally driven financial decisions, and have a strategy. That is why you don't rely mostly on yourself. Because if you want to rely on yourself in doing things, coming back to what you were saying about system, you rely on yourself, there are going to be highs and lows. You're not going to be in the right frame of mind always. So it's good to systemize things. Same way you have to, it's always anything that is scalable has to be systemized. If you want to scale something on a high level, you have to systemize it. You don't have to run it on emotions. You
Yeah.
don't have to run it on memory. Now, if you say, okay, every month I'm going to save this amount of money, you could probably forget because of how busy your month was. So that is why we get to dealing with the emotional and understanding the psychological aspect of making financial decisions, and then systemize things. Why do you think someone who won lottery goes broke? He's running on high emotions, serious adrenaline. You understand? So he's not making any right financial
Yeah.
decision, any rational one. So the emotional and psychological aspect is very important to first deal with. So
Absolutely. And there's one like there even like that's very common in everything. Again, I always draw the comparison to my work because as I said, like that's my expertise, but it's like fear,
yes,
right? And
yes,
greed. These are the
yes,
two things that are
yes,
running the financial market as well.
yes,
And that's
yes.
what I love about actually really the financial market is a like a direct reflection
Mhm.
of the like the human condition,
Mm.
right? Like
Mm.
when there are certain circumstances in
Mm.
society, people
Mm.
are afraid, right?
Yes.
And then you can already like
Mm.
predict what is going to happen to the
Yes.
financial market because
Yes.
people are even
Yes.
if it's known. I
Yes.
think that's so interesting. Even though it's known and very
Yes.
known in the financial marketplace,
Mhm.
okay, fear, people are gonna behave a certain way,
Yes.
right? And then greed, when things are up
Yes.
and things are high, people
Yes.
get greedy,
Yes.
right? So yeah,
Mm.
I really love that because that's again, emotional management
Yes.
is going to create success in every area of your life, also the financial aspect. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about like systems, right? Like the practical money management. Are there some strategies for using money, like to meet our needs and our desires effectively? What would you say?
Yes, there are a lot of strategies you can use in terms of systems. Now, one of them is sticking to not let's not start with the budgeting, but looking at your money, following your money.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I would advise everybody should do now the year is coming to an end, go into your bank app, download the whole bank statement from the beginning of the year till now. Look at all your expenditure. Look at the leakages. If you could use a pivot table, even better, then you can categorize them. See the leakages and where your money is going out from. Most of those leakages you need to block those leakages, because if you have a boat that has leakage, it's definitely going to sink. So the first thing,
What would be a leakage? Like what do you mean with by that?
impulse spending, non-strategic spending, those are leakages. Things, your subscriptions you have that you don't need, unnecessary things you're buying, those are leakages. You understand? Yes, especially now that we have the day of buy now, pay later. All those are leakages. All those need to be controlled. The second aspect, we will go much into details in this, because I have templates, then I can share my screen. I have templates I can share with people, but now we're just talking about
Yes.
budgeting.
But
Now,
just for the viewers
yes,
to
yes.
understand
So
like what is
another
it?
thing you can do is having budgets, sticking to budget. Now, budgeting is, yeah, we all know. You see, these are common knowledge, but as I said, we are rational beings that don't make rational decisions always. So budgeting really helps. It's like a guideline. You can go over your budget plus or minus, but if you're always going over your budget, then there's a problem. Now, let's say you budgeted, you have a template, you budgeted that, okay, my budget for eating out every month is, let's say, 400 euros. Now, in the first month, you spend 400 euros. Second month, 450. Third month, 500. Fourth month, 600. It means you're not watching your budget. It
Yeah.
could happen once in a month or once in three, but it shouldn't always be the same. So it means that you have something that is a framework which you're measuring yourself by. You understand? And having budget, it's very good. Now, and we are people of color. Sometimes people come, oh, can you help me do this? Although you need to have even a line item for donations.
Yeah.
If you exceed that for this month, you don't need to, you just tell me, I cannot help you. So you carry it over to next month. That is if it's possible.
That's a very, very good one. I like that you're mentioning it because just to make it even more tangible, this
Yes.
is like to really share a little story here. I think this is actually one of the biggest, let's say, challenges,
Yes.
right, in the Black community, but also like every kind of
Everybody.
migrant
Yes. Yes.
community where you have people back in the home country, or
Yes.
just the whole culture is kind of built on that, right?
Yes.
People are like, that's, I think that's even a very, very big, let's call it subconscious
Yes.
mechanism that people assume as soon as somebody is financially more well off, even though that person is not even financially secure, they're just actually getting by, right?
Yes.
And then it's like, can you send me some money? Can you help me? I
Yes.
think that's one of the biggest things. And again, as you said, it is more about the emotional attachment,
Yes.
right? To continue to be likable, like
Yes.
not to say no,
Yes.
right? And not to stand in for the budget or the plan because
Yes.
you've rationally understood you need to fulfill certain things for yourself to be stable and then even like to go higher in order if you want to help anybody. Right. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for people of color, migrants from whatever country.
Yes.
I've heard that in every community. I've experienced it myself with my family. I think that's a very, very big one. And also what you're saying and what I'm hearing is really it's discipline, right?
Yes.
It's about discipline and saying no, just like a diet. just
Yes.
like a diet with everything. Like it's the road to success is a very
Yes.
narrow way.
Yes. So normally when I'm addressing the topic of finance, there are two aspects to it. Now, the first part is which I deal with is giving the standard or giving a template to run by proportions. So I don't talk about having more money because having more money, as we said, we are dealing with holistic healing or whatever. Then there is the other aspect of personal development, which is getting more skills, being more valuable, because then you can get more income. But learning these is just a template that you can scale when you even get more money.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is one of the things. You can't solve every problem, but you need to have a template to run by, whether you have little or you have more. So I think setting a budget, even having a line item in your budget for donations is very, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Then it helps you control your emotional givings, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, I like that even that like budgeting those things,
Yes.
it's also about being very realistic about your life
Yes.
circumstances, about your culture or whatever,
Yes.
just knowing things like that are going to come up, right?
Yes.
And then just to plan in a little bit of money for that every month. Yeah, I
Yes.
really like that.
So, yes. So back to the strategies. I talked
Yeah.
about watching your money, following your money, blocking all the leakages. Then the second aspect is budgeting. Then also the third one is debt management. You need to manage it. You need to count. You need to what I advise people is consolidate all your debt and then have one person you're paying to. That helps you in debt because you cannot always manage the timelines of all the other debt, which you may run into late payments. So consolidate everything and then deal with one person. So
Yeah.
that is debt because you can't try to go high whilst you're in a hole. You need to first clear your debt and then try to go for it from there. And then the other aspect is having an emergency fund. It's always advisable for you to have about 3 to 6 months of your annual income as emergency fund.
Yeah.
This is where you can just dip your hand into anytime you need an untoward expenditure, or then you can run it back. And then the other part, which is going higher, it's savings. You need some savings. You have emergency fund, then you have your savings. That is when getting a high yield income savings is good. And then the next part is having insurances, very strategic insurances for your life.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect, planning for the future, is having to do investments, getting into the wealth creation too. Because the one thing I like so much about America is so much a capitalistic country that it will never fail you when you invest in these things. And
Yeah.
these things are created for all of us to benefit from. So why not play?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So what is the difference between like, or what would you say is the biggest difference between, as you said, having a budget, saving, emergency fund, and then investing?
Yes.
Like, what is the biggest difference and why is it important to understand both?
Yes. So each of them has different goals or they serve different purposes. So you would tweak, maybe my financial goals may not be yours. So everybody's financial goals are different. But then these are standards you need to know. Why should you have a budget? It's to help you manage your money. It's to help you channel your money appropriately. So there are no leakages. There's no over, there's no under. If there's under, even better. You understand? Why should you invest? You should invest for your future because you're definitely going to grow old. That is investment for the future. Having an emergency fund is just money that you can run to. Now, even in Germany, you have the caution. Most people cannot outrightly pay their caution.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they have to form of get some, but if you have an emergency fund, because if you're living in a house and then they don't give you a caution and you're moving somewhere else, where are you going to get that money?
Yeah.
So that is why you need these emergency funds. Savings are money you have to buffer your budget. So you have something you need to buy, but it's just on the cheap, and then you just buffer it with your savings. Investment, I said, is for the future. Now, insurances is for uncertainties. We live in a life of probabilities. Life is full of probabilities.
Yeah.
It's either this or that. And there are probabilities attached to every life situation. So insurances just help you up the odd of a certain given probability.
What
So
would you say like are really the most important insurances? I know you're going to go into depth in the
yes,
course,
yeah, yeah,
right? But just like what would you say? Because I have been in the insurance business like
yes,
in since the beginning of my studies, and I have
yeah,
really started questioning like what are really the necessary
mm,
insurances? Because yes, it's true, like life
mhm,
is full of probabilities,
yeah,
right? I think that's exactly what the insurance business
yes,
plays on,
yes,
right? But what is really necessary to ensure, like, create some security, quote unquote, around?
yes. So as this is personal finance. There are many forms of insurances we need for our lives, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't talk about I'm talking of the ones in terms of life
Yes.
subsistence.
Mm-hmm.
So you need one of the ones I've realized is life insurance. Everybody needs to have a life insurance because the younger you are, the lower the premiums you pay. You understand? And having a residual insurance physician is even better than just a normal life insurance because the payout of a normal life insurance is not as high and the requirements are not as stringent as having a residual insurance. Because with a residual insurance, it means it's like a term life insurance. So you're betting on your life, you're betting on your death. So should I die, I want a favorable outcome
Yeah.
before a certain age. So you normally, yes, the life expectancy is around 80 years, 70 years, whatever. But then you can bet on your death that should you die, because all of us will admit to having to say at one point of the in our life that I wish I had a soft landing or I wish I had a soft start. That
Yeah.
is what your parents do for you. You understand? So the people that are my dependents, I bet on my life that should I be, die, they should get these sums of money.
Yeah.
And the fear people normally have with these things is it gives motives for people to do funny things.
Yes,
But
this
then
is
that is why you need to also, if you have a good insurance package, you can have an insurance where you have access to lawyers. So all these your estates you have are given to the lawyer. So the lawyer is keeping them in state on any occurrence happening, and they go about the disbursements to whoever your beneficiaries are.
Yeah, I like that as well, even like you going into detail. As again, speaking as a person of color, speaking as a migrant or whatever, I think that's also a big part because or people can be so superstitious, right? Or
Yes,
even like this fear of
yes,
actually getting killed or
dying.
whatever. I mean,
Mm,
my dad recently passed, and like this brought up so many cultural conversations, right? And also people not really preparing for their
yes,
death, right?
yes,
It's so ignorant, right? Like
yes,
it's so ignorant to be like, oh, like I'm not gonna be thinking about that one day I will die. But come on, let's be mature human beings
yeah,
here, right?
yeah,
Everybody's gonna die one day.
yeah,
So how do I want to leave my family and
yes,
my loved ones behind, let alone even maybe pay for my own funeral and whatever
yeah,
like is attached to that, right? But as you said, I think it's very common still in our
yeah,
subconscious and even in our
mhm,
culture space
yeah,
that people have these superstitions of,
yeah,
right, preparing for
yeah.
death, having
No,
a
but
life
these
insurance.
are conversations we
Yes,
need to feel comfortable having because
absolutely.
it's reality. You're going to live. Nobody's living this earth alive. So why not bet on it? I would love that's a good gamble for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I have nothing to lose. I'm dead, and there's something coming to some people.
yeah,
And these are things that are used. These are tools used in creating generational wealth.
yes,
Imagine everybody in your family is insured. That gives a soft start to the next generation coming up.
yeah.
They have better life experience. They can go to better schools. They can engage in better things that give them a better life experience. So
Yeah.
these are things we need to gamble on. Yes.
Absolutely. I love that. And I'm looking forward to go even deeper in
Yes.
the
So
course.
yeah.
Yes, so what would you say, like, why should individuals prioritize saving money, and
Yeah.
what are some effective ways to do so?
Yes. So saving money has to do with being able to live a comfortable life, being able to engage in your passions, being able to afford the things you want to afford. You know, purchases are things we would always do. You understand? We would always purchase stuff. So why not have money in the side to be able to do those things for the future? You know, for your passions, for things you want to engage in. So it's always good to have money on the side. Life is, as I said, life is full of probabilities. You never know what may happen that you will need them. You
Yeah.
understand? So it's always good to. And one thing you should also realize in life is it's difficult getting help, especially financial help. So the best person to help yourself is you. You understand? So
Yes.
whilst you have the ability to help yourself, start saving some money. Understand?
Yeah.
So that is just for starters. Saving is for starters because when you save, you're actually not getting anything because there's inflation eating up your money. So that is why
Mhm.
it's when you start saving, then we later on you're able to, then it becomes easier for you to know that I can put money on the side. You watch a huge amount of money and not have emotional urges to spend it. Because when you start investing, you're going to see huge money in a certain account and you need to keep quiet and not do anything. Just watch it grow. Yes.
Yes, as you said, so this is saving is like more of a financial cushion, right?
Yes.
And then, like, what are the benefits of investing? You said it is for the future, but
Yes.
are there any more benefits? Like, how can one start investing wisely? And maybe are there more benefits than just to have this long view?
Yes. So I'm always an advocate for long-term investment. But then investments also give you leverage. You understand? You can if you're a business
What
owner,
does leverage mean for the
so
people
leverage
watching?
is just debt.
Yeah.
In terms of finance, it's just debt. So there are various kinds of debt, but consumer debt is very terrible. You shouldn't have consumer debt. If you have debt that you can leverage for your business, because the interest rate you're going to be paying on that debt is very little as compared to the returns. You can leverage, you can use your investment, you can go to a certain bank. Okay, these are my investments. I'm investing a certain amount of money. Please borrow me this money against this asset that I have. So you can use your investment as a form of leverage to start up a certain business. So that is also one of the advantages one of the things you can use having an investment for. Yes, aside preparing for the future.
Mm. Okay, so even again, I think I'm like talking more to the beginner. So what does that mean, like having like leverage for your business, right? So what could that look like?
So now you're producing I don't know, let's say you're producing something. Now you see there's a ready market for it.
Yeah. So you have a bakery, for example, like
Yes.
just to make it very
Yes.
picturesque.
So you have a bakery. Now you're getting demands all over the place. People are coming in to get, but you don't have the capital to start that business to be able to produce to meet the demands. Then comes in leverage because now you have some investment going on. The bank, you can negotiate with the bank to get lower interest rates
Yeah.
because now they know, okay, this person just needs it to expand their business. It's not like they're coming for consumer debt.
Yeah.
So having a form of investment gives you a negotiation, like you have a bargaining power, you understand, with the banks to get money for your business to grow because you will get a lot of money out from the revenue and then you can even be able to pay back your interest,
Yes.
your loan at a smaller interest rate.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right? So the bank needs to know they're going to get back their money.
Yes,
So
yes,
with a business, it's probable that they're going to get back their money faster than
yes.
just consumer debts. Yeah.
And probably if you just go there without any form of assets or investment, then they can even give you higher interest rates for the same amount.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and what would you say, like how can one start investing?
It's simple. It's as now the world has become so easy that you can invest as little as €1. as little as 1 euro. And once you see this, you start feeling good about yourself. You see, that's one of the nice things about having money or being able to invest money.
Yeah.
You start feeling good about yourself because you know you are doing something tangible. You're doing something that you now there is I like this so much. There are these videos on TikTok that this lady or someone goes around asking people, how old are you and how much do you have in savings or investments? And this for me gives me a good perspective to juxtapose how I see myself in the
Yeah.
future. Now, most of the people who don't have good saving amounts means that they didn't do anything when they were younger.
Yeah.
Now I'm in my 30s. I'm answering that question now, like assuming I'm 50 or 60. Then I'm able to say when I'm 60 that I have 2 million in my account. I have 5 million in my account. But I need to do that now.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's so easy for people to start investing and then the other thing is understanding the power of compounding.
Yeah.
As I said, the eighth wonder of the world is compounding.
Yes.
It's even you can even describe it with someone going to the gym. You start going to the gym, you don't see anything. Continue consistently for 6
Yes.
months. You will see a totally different body. Same as eating junk. Continue with 6 months and see. So the power of compounding helps your money to really grow. And we'll go into all the technicality, understanding really what compounding in the future. So
Yeah.
it's if you the only thing is sticking to a budget, having a plan which will help you to invest.
Yeah.
Because if you want to invest, you don't do it haphazardly. You need to do it at a certain rate and consistently to
Yeah.
see the real outcome. You know, there was something. If I ask you to take 1 million euros right now, or take in 30 days time, take the duplication of 5 cents. In the duplication of 5 cents in 30 days is about 2 million euros as compared to 1 million. So
Yeah.
that's the power of compounding. So you
Yeah.
just need to start now.
Yes, I love that again, just to like chime in some like personal things. And again, it always comes back down to having the plan and being disciplined.
Yes.
And what would you say, like really on a personal note, because I'm a consultant, like I'm a
Yes.
coach, I'm a consultant, and I highly advocate if people want to learn or implement something new. I always say they should hire a coach, right? They should hire me, they should hire you. What is your personal experience also seeing people? Because honestly, like I have been there and I can imagine that most people,
Yes.
they have the plan, maybe they have once set up the
Yes.
structure, but then something happens,
Yes.
right? Like the
Yes.
panic or
Yes.
the so-called emergency. What would you say in terms of working with an advisor for a
Yes.
longer time? What
Yes.
is how do I best say, like, what is the probability that somebody acts out of panic with
Yes.
an advisor against working without somebody and then just taking out the money or like really, yeah,
Yes.
taking out the money and then starting from zero again?
I'm a proponent of having someone hold your hand. I'm a big proponent of that. It's you should be able to feel like a child when you don't know something. And there's something based on experience, also for myself, what I see. There's sometimes you see someone do something like, God, could you? You know? So what that brings me to is a lot of people need guidance. Because if you see certain actions of people, you say, no, like how could you? Because why should you be doing this? And it doesn't also mean we don't know these things.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
And it doesn't, so sometimes you have to deal with it from yourself that I'm not stupid, but I just need someone to work with.
Absolutely. That's a very, very important one, just to chime in and then I'll give it
Yes.
back to you. But that's the thing. I also believe, or I love what you just said, that many people think
Yes.
asking for an
Yeah.
advisor, asking for help
Yes.
Asking for a guide or a consultant or coach, even in personal matters, makes you look stupid. No,
Yes.
actually, it makes you look very wise
Very, very.
because we tend, and this is again coming a bit back to my expertise, knowing human nature.
Yes.
Even if you know, as you said, we are rational beings, but we are more
Yes.
emotional.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
more emotional than we
Yes.
are rational, and the
Yes.
emotion can overthrow the rational in a millisecond,
I'm
right?
telling you.
And just knowing that and admitting to ourselves
Yeah.
that we are not always above our
Yes.
emotions. That's why
Yes.
we need somebody on our side who holds us accountable and maybe
Definitely.
just gives a second question, like a second guesses, like what, like, are you sure that you want to do this? Like we
Yeah.
have set out this plan. So are you sure you want to act so impulsive over here? Yeah, giving it back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes going on certain journeys, you can't go on those journeys with the current or the crop of people you already know because they are also not going on those journeys with you. So you may feel passionate about something and share with someone you feel the person should be happy, but they may just give you a cold look and something. So it's better to go back to someone who is also passionate, equal, and then you see that you're going to get more drive. You understand? So working with someone, I'm always, as I said, I'm a proponent for working with people. That is why you said something the last time, having a beginner's mind. I always, when I don't know something and I feel that is helpful to me, I would always admit to that and then humbly learn.
Yeah.
So working with someone doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't take away your intellectual capabilities. No, it's just, you're just saying that I'm wise and I want to go with someone who has already navigated this, and then it means that I'm going to even get better help. Yes.
That sounds beautiful. And this sounds like a perfect ending
Yes,
also. Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much for giving us a little bit of insight into your personal journey
Yes.
and into the expertise and into the field. And also what you said in the big or in the end now, it is really seeing it as a new terrain, right?
Yes.
It's a new field that you might haven't explored. Like if you're new and you just like you're not like Joanna, like what are we talking about? Like what is this? What is that? If you want to know more, stay tuned. Like we're going to have two more like exchanges, and Emmanuel is going to be part of the community now, and he's going to go into depth. And if you are really ready to even work one-on-one, you can contact him and you will find all the information in the community. So Emmanuel, thank
Yes.
you so much for taking the time today and also giving us a little insight into your field of expertise, into your own story. And I think there's so much more there. And I'm looking forward to dive even deeper with you. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yes, I would just like to say thank you for having me on here. And then I hope we continue this nicely. And yes, let's share knowledge. Let's be better.
Exactly. Let's grow into our best selves and live our
Yes.
best lives. That's what it's
Yes.
all about. Until then, bye.
Bye.